Welcome everyone to Doga Yoga. Today we're doing a beautiful arrow flow. So we're going to really focus on our abs, really focus on our core on this class. Be nice and quick as well. So we're going to start in child's pose. So really take the knees as wide as you would like. Sit your hips back onto your heels. Send the forehead down towards the earth and just start to slide the fingertips forward. Melt the shoulder blades down away from the ears and just arrive. Start to connect with that rise and fall with your breath. With your inhale, fill the belly, the ribs, the collarbones. And on your exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Take a few breaths here just to connect to your mat today, or just welcome yourself here. Start to notice any tension, any physical sensations coming up in the lower back, the shoulders, the ribs, the neck. As we continue to connect to that rise and fall. When we're ready, we're gently going to send our hips up in line with our knees and just send our fingers forward. So keep our forehead onto the ground. If your knees are wider than hip distance, just move them in a little bit. Still melting the shoulder blades down the back into a beautiful puppy pose or melting heart pose here. So fill up the belly and exhale, just open up the heart, open up the chest towards the floor. Inhale. And exhale. Bring in some beautiful new energy. And exhale, let go. Take your time here to gently wake up the body, wake up the chest, wake up the shoulders. That beautiful rise and fall. Just bringing a little bit of stretch, a little bit of awakening into the body today after sitting at our desks or driving or sleeping. When we're ready, we're gently going to make our way back into our child's pose. So send our hips towards our heels. Fingertips and forehead connect with the earth. We're going to pick up our forehead, come onto the tops of our fingertips and just walk them over towards the right and sink. Relax the head down and just feel a really nice whole side body stretch from that left hip to the shoulder, shoulder to the fingertips. Continue to connect to the mat, connect to that breath. When you're ready, gently pick yourself up and just walk your way over to the left. Melt on down. And just gently opening up the body and releasing. Creating strength today in our core, but also getting a little bit of a stretch so we can focus on alignment, proper posture. When we're ready, lift our forehead, come back to center, melt it down. We're going to make our way in our own time up into all fours. So hips and knees in alignment, wrists and shoulders in alignment. Spread our fingers out, push shoulder blades down, melt down the back. Really just engage here. We're going to drop the belly, open up the chest into cow. And exhale to cat. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful big inhale. Really savor this sensation. And exhale. Come back to neutral. Find length here. We're going to press into all 5 fingers, the tops of the toes, or if it's easier for you, tuck your toes under. We're going to lift the knees up and hover here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and lower. Tuck the toes under, press in the hands, into the hands, and come on up into your downward facing dog. Now take some time here, walk the dog, wake up the body, wake up the hips, the hamstrings, the glutes. You might sway the hips side to side quite a bit, really get into it. Or you might just be still with the knees super bent, releasing the crown of the head towards the earth, opening up that chest, kind of like we did in our puppy pose, and our gaze goes towards our knees. Lengthen that tailbone towards the sky and soften. When we're ready, press into that left foot, lift that right heel high to the sky, or we can even just play lifting this off the ground just a little bit. And when we're ready, we're all going to get this right hand in between our hands in our own way. To get this foot in between the hands, we can lower down onto this back knee. If we need, open up the chest, so come on to the fingertips. Collarbones open, smiling gaze going forward. Push that back heel away wherever we are and sink the hips a little deeper. Push and sink. When we're ready, we're going to come on up into our crescent lunge. So hands can come to the knees, or we can sweep ourselves straight up, push that back heel away, sink the hips, square them off to the front of the mat. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send the hands wide, frame that front foot wherever we are. You can either lower down this back knee or keep it up, plant the hands, we can come back to plank or half plank. Lower down the chest first and then the hips, chaturanga, and tuck the toes. Press into the hands, come up, cobra. And exhale, lower. Send the hips towards the heels, back into that beautiful child's pose. Really just sink and release here. And when we're ready, we're going to tuck the toes under, press into the hands and the hips up into downward facing dog. Find your place here. Find your alignment. You might wriggle, shake the hips side to side. Notice the weight in one hand and then the other, one foot and then the other. And when we're ready, in our own time, now we can just play lifting these left toes off the ground a millimeter or quick kick that heel high. Breathe here. And when we're ready, get this left foot through in between our hands. Now we might have to pick it up, get it however we can. We can step it through in one lot. We can lower down this back knee if we need, or keep it up. Now options here to place the hands on the knees and just rise on up here, finding your stability. And when you're stable, send the hands high. You can also be in high lunge, wherever we are, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands wide, frame that front foot. Lift that back knee, come back to half or full plank and go through your flow. Chaturanga, chest down, then hips, untuck the toes. Come up into cobra. Lower down on your exhale and make your way into your child's pose. Just really connect for that moment. Tuck the toes and the hips high, up into downward facing dog. 2 breaths length and sink. Length and sink. Actually, just take 2 more breaths here because I'm just really liking this pose for a moment. Length. Sink, length, sink. When we're ready, press into the left foot, lift the right heel high. Once more, optional extra to kick that right heel to the left buttock, opening up the hip here. When we're ready, we're going to straighten that leg again, square off the hips, bring that knee towards nose, round out here, really hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Before we get the foot in between our hands into our lunge, open up, sink the hips, gaze forward, really nice and strong, squaring the hips off towards the front of the mat, smile on our face, we can do this. Now you can have that back knee down, come up gently, or sweep the hands up and back into our crescent lunge. Pinkies in, gaze high, breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when we're ready, we're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale. We're going to sweep our hands forward and back, pointing our crown of the head towards the front of the room into arrow. Inhale, rise on up with control. Fingers reach high, gaze high, big breath. And exhale, shoot towards the front of the room like an arrow. Inhale. And exhale, shoot. Really point that crown of the head forward. Where are you going? Inhale.
And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Shoot, hold for 3, 2, 1. Frame the front foot and go through your flow. Plank, chaturanga, cobra, or come up into your upward facing dog. Everyone make their way into their child's pose in their own way, in their own time, for 2 breaths. And when ready, tuck the toes under, press into the hands, send the hips high up into our downward facing dog. Find your comfy space here, length, and soften. 1 more, length, and soften. Left side, kick that left heel high to the sky, kick it over to the right buttock if you want that optional extra, there we go. Really just find that beautiful side body and front body stretch here. And when you're ready, all straighten that top leg, bring it through, knee to nose, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Foot in between our hands, open up into our lunge, sink our hips down, smiling gaze forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come on up into our crescent lunge for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now into our arrow, lengthen our inhale, really fill up. And exhale, point the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Now lower that back knee down if you need. Inhale. And exhale. Where are you going? Where is your target? What are you aiming for? Inhale, fire on up, fill the belly, energy, air, fire. Feel it grow big, and exhale. Shh. Point it where it wants to go. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale, fire on up, fill the belly with energy, and exhale, shoot and hold for 3. Sink the hips a little deeper. 2, 1. Frame that front foot and go through your flow. Plank or half plank. Lower down the chest first and then the hips, chaturanga. Come up into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, lower. Hips to heels, rest the forehead towards the earth, or just release. And stay here, connect with the earth for 5 breaths. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. 3 more at your own time. Really focusing on the heat and energy we're developing in the body. And when ready, rise on up, tuck the toes under, come back into our downward facing dog. 2 breaths, length. And soften. Length. And soften. Weight into the left leg, right heel up once more. Now really reach it as high as you can. Lower that left heel down towards the ground, keeping the hips square off towards the front of the mat. When we're ready, knee to nose, round out. Really push the chest away from the ground here. We're not hanging out in our joints. Spine is long for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get that foot in between our hands. Open up our lunge. Really nice here. Breathe for 5, 4. Knee can be down. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to step this back foot forward. Come into a forward fold. Really let the crown of the head melt towards the earth for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when we're ready, round out the spine, push into the feet, roll on up vertebra by vertebra. Take our time. Take 1 big arm circle all together, up overhead, fingertips touch, little back bend, and hands back to heart center. 2 breaths here, length, and soften, length, and soften. Now we're going to press weight into our left foot. Lift our right knees up, no knee up, we only have 1 knee. So we can be on the toes here, just practicing balance. Really activating our core, activating our stabilizer muscles. playing here. We can lift this knee all the way up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when we're ready, we're going to kick this right heel back. Now, optional extra here, you can come straight into your lunge. You can step this foot back into your lunge or kick the heel high, coming into your warrior 3 for 5, 4. Point that crown of the head towards the front of the room, heel towards the back, nice straight line. 3, 2, 1. We'll all meet in our lunge. That back knee can be down here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Inhale, find length. Exhale, arrow. Inhale. And exhale, push yourself forward. Inhale. And exhale, push forward for 3, 2, 1. Now, difference here, we are either going to step back, our back foot up to meet the front, or we're going to bounce on off, coming in to our warrior 3. Kick that heel high, push the fingers towards the back. You can send them towards the front of the room if you want. For 3, 2, 1. And when ready, bring that back foot to meet the front. Come into a beautiful forward fold, knees bent for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come up to the tops of the knees, push away, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Just rock on out here, roll on side to side, massaging out all of the tension. We already bend our knees, plant our hands, step back one foot and then the other to plank. Go through your flow or meet us in downward facing dog, plank, chaturanga, cobra or upward facing dog. Make your way into child's pose. Really nice. 2 breaths here, length and soften. Length and soften. Tuck our toes under, press into the hands and the hips high into downward facing dog. Length and soften. Length and soften. All right, all of that again on the left side. Left heel high for 5, 4, 3. See if you can lower down that right heel. 2, 1. Bring that knee to nose. Round out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get that foot in between our hands. Open up into our lunge for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when we're ready, we're going to bounce off this back toes, come up into a forward fold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When we're ready, bend our knees, roll our spine up vertebra by vertebra. Super big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch, and back to heart center. Just find your stillness, find your center here. When we're ready, weight to the right foot, lift the left heel or left toes or left knee. There we go, words got there eventually, high for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When we're ready, we're going to kick this foot back, place it back into our lunge, or we can go through our warrior 3, crown it to the front of the room, heel towards the back of the room, hold here, length. And when we're ready, all make our way into our crescent lunge. Now we can lower down this back knee at any point. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Length and arrow on your exhale. Inhale, length. And exhale, arrow. One more, reach high. And exhale, arrow. Point the crown of the head forward. Ooh. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to bounce off these back toes, really put weight into that front big toe. Either come up in straight into our forward fold or come up into our warrior 3 once more. Point the crown of the head towards the front of the room, heels towards the back for 3, 2, 1. Back foot down. Fold forward into a really nice ragdoll. Grab the elbows, shake the head side to side, rock side to side. Just really let the whole body release. Bend the knees as generously as you need so the belly rests on the thighs. Feel that any weight or tension in the shoulders and neck, just let go. Relax the jaw, the scalp, the ears. When we're ready, we're going to plant our hands. I'm going to step back into tabletop position. So knees come down, wrists come down. Come back into a cat-cow, drop the belly, open up the chest. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Come on back to neutral. Find length in the spine. We're going to kick this right heel high, kind of come into a cow. Send our left hand forward and see if we can grab that right foot. Open up the body here. Really beautiful hip, shoulder, core, everything release. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower and release. Give yourself a little wriggle, little shake, little move. And when we're ready, find length in the spine. Send the left heel high, nice and control here. Send the right fingers forward. Grab them around, reach them around to the back. Length. And kick that heel high. Beautiful spinal opening, shoulder opening, hip opening, everything in between. And when you're ready, gently release. Come on down, and we're going to make our way into that beautiful child's pose once more. A place of stillness and surrender and release. Fill up the belly, the ribs, the collarbones, and let it all go. 2 more like that. Length. And soften. Length. And soften. When we're ready, we're going to send our hips in line with our knees. So our fingertips are coming forward once more. And we're going to walk ourselves up into tabletop position and then walk our hands towards our knees. So toes can be tucked or untucked. Find what works for you. Hands come to the knees, and then we're going to roll on up. Sit the big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. And exhale, take them wide and place them on the hips. Now we're just going to get into our lower back here a little bit. So you might just take a little back bend here. That might be super enough for you. Or we're going to go dynamically. So inhale, send the left hand across towards the right hip, up to the right sky, and then reach it back towards the left. Send it back down, place it on the hip. Inhale, sweep the right hand across to the left and up. And exhale down. Flow with the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Those for you who can come onto their heels, you can do the same variation onto your heels. Inhale, rising that right hand across and over towards the back of the room, and then back, placing the hand on the heel. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Hold wherever we are. Slight back bend, just opening up, releasing, letting go. When we're ready, core is on, rise ourselves up. And then fold. So bring the hips towards the heels, forehead towards the earth. Bring the fingers towards the toes. So in a nice small child's pose here. Finding all of that beautiful surrender and release. When we're ready, send our hands in front of our shoulders or underneath our shoulders. Lift our forehead up. Simply place a little bit of weight onto the knees and off the heels. Cross the ankles over and roll on over into a seated position. So we're going to find a seated savasana or resting pose today. You can come rest up against a wall, near a couch, or you can just find a comfy place and seated, placing one hand on one knee, one hand on the other. Finding length in the spine and softening. Length and soften. Length and soften. Bring your gaze inwards to your breath. Don't let the thoughts of the future or the past or the problem solving, what we've got to do after this class, take on to you or take hold of you just yet. Bring your awareness, ground yourself into the physical, into the awareness of the here and now. Feel the air on your skin, the connection to the earth below. Feel the light on your body. Notice the smells in the air, what you can hear inside this room and out. As we can focus or continue to focus on the rise and fall of our breath.
When we're ready, we'll take one big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch, and back to heart center. Sending you lots of love and gratitude, beautiful yogis. Namaste.